Every village holds a secret. Some are buried in time. Some are hidden beneath the ground. But in one forgotten corner of the world, the secret was built into the wall itself. They called it the Whispering Wall, a place where voices were said to echo long after the people were gone. For centuries, travelers avoided it. Animals would not go near it. And those who stayed after sunset often claimed to hear someone calling their name. This is the story of the wall that spoke, and the woman who tried to understand what it was saying. In the summer of 1976, Dr. Amelia Crane, an archaeologist from London, arrived in a remote Turkish valley. She had come to study an ancient fortress ruin that locals believed was cursed. The wall was old, older than any record of the settlement around it. Huge stones, weathered by centuries of wind and rain, stacked in perfect symmetry. No mortar, no carvings, just a smooth, cold surface that seemed to hum softly at night. At first, Amelia thought it was the wind, but the sound came even when the air was still. It wasn't constant, only in short bursts. A faint vibration, like a whisper pressed against the ear of the world. The locals warned her. "Do not stay near the wall after dark," they said. "People hear things. Some never return the same." But Amelia wasn't afraid. She had dedicated her life to uncovering the truths behind ancient myths, and she believed every myth began with something real. The first night she camped beside the ruins, she kept a tape recorder running, just the sound of crickets and the wind for hours. Until 2:17 a.m. The crickets stopped, and on the tape, a faint voice whispered a word she didn't understand. Soft, drawn out, almost like her name. She replayed it again and again. Amelia. But it couldn't be. She was alone. The next morning, she checked the recorder. The batteries had drained completely. Every part of the camp seemed colder than before. Even her assistant refused to stay another night. But Amelia remained. She began mapping the wall, measuring every stone. Then she noticed something. Tiny holes, almost invisible, carved into precise geometric patterns. They weren't natural. They were too deliberate, too perfect. When she traced one pattern with her finger, a low hum filled the air. It was deep, ancient, almost alive. The wall seemed to respond to her touch. It was as if sound had been trapped inside for centuries, waiting for someone to awaken it. By the third day, Amelia's notes became strange. She wrote that she could hear voices even when she wasn't near the ruins. Whispers, calling from the edges of her thoughts. They spoke in a language she couldn't identify, but she somehow understood their emotions. Pain, regret, warning. At dusk, she saw movement on the wall. Not a person, not a shadow, just a ripple across the stone surface, like the wall itself was breathing. That night, she made her last recording. Only fragments survived. A whisper. The wall remembers. Then, silence. And after that, a single, low, heartbeat-like thump. The villagers found her camp abandoned the next morning. Her tent was torn open from the inside. Her notebook lay beside the wall, pages soaked from dew. The last entry read, "They are inside." Decades later, a group of researchers rediscovered her tapes. They tried restoring them, but each time they played them, the room temperature dropped. Microphones picked up faint human tones, layers of voices overlapping in impossible harmony. When one of the technicians slowed down the playback, he froze. Under the static, Amelia's voice spoke clearly. "Don't listen to them." Local legend says the wall was part of an ancient temple built over a burial ground. Some claim it was a place of sacrifice, others a monument to the dead. But every theory ends the same way. The voices belong to those who were sealed within it. When sound travels through air, it fades. But when sound travels through stone, it can linger. Echoes can last longer than life itself. And maybe, just maybe, what Amelia heard wasn't supernatural. Maybe it was history itself, trying to speak. In 2002, a journalist named David Locke visited the same site to film a short documentary. He stayed one night. His footage was never broadcast, but fragments later surfaced online. In the final seconds, the camera points toward the wall. You can hear David's voice. "Listen, do you hear that?" Then another voice answers, a whisper so faint it's barely human. It says, "We never left." The camera drops, and the video ends. Today, the site is closed to the public. Government archaeologists call it unsafe due to structural instability. But locals still hear things at night. A low humming carried on the wind. Some say if you press your ear to the wall, you'll hear your own voice, but it will speak words you've never said. No one knows what really happened to Amelia Crane. Her body was never found, but her notes remain. In the final page of her recovered journal, she wrote something haunting. "The wall is not old. It is alive. It does not keep the past inside, it keeps it awake." Some say the voices are gone now, that time and decay silence them at last. But others still claim to hear them in recordings, in static, in dreams, as if the wall remembers every voice that ever spoke near it. And maybe it's waiting for more, because sound never truly dies. It just hides, in walls, in echoes, in the spaces between silence. And if you ever find yourself standing before a ruin older than history, and you hear a faint whisper calling your name, step back. Because some walls were never meant to be touched. This is Voices from an Ancient Wall, and some stories should never be heard.